So this video is all about one of the fundamentals of fitness motivation, fat loss motivation, body transformation motivation that I still see people getting wrong. And it's one of the basics, it's one of the first things that we need to be doing, but people still don't have enough clarity around this area. So before I dive into this, it's really important that we clarify what we mean by motivation, or if somebody is struggling with a loss or a lack of motivation. This is different to self-sabotage. So when somebody struggles with a lack of motivation, they frequently get to a point in their life where they just can't be bothered. It just doesn't seem that important. They get distracted by other things. And then eventually they find themselves all the way back to square one again. That's different to somebody who does know what they want, and they really want it, and they're driven and they're motivated, but they have all of these compulsive behaviors where they are binge eating, for example, or they have these behaviors that seem to take over and almost seem to have a life of their own, or they're constantly struggling with these internal conflicts where part of them wants one thing and part of them wants another thing, and they almost feel torn apart. Like, those are different struggles. Here we're talking about the basics of motivation. And if you struggle with motivation, with getting yourself started and having a reason to actually go to the gym or to actually eat healthy, nutritious meals, then this is the place to start. Now, most people's motivation comes from one source, which is they start at a place here, which I'm going to give it a negative sign, which is basically everything that they don't want. Right? So most people think that they know what they want, but what they really are talking about is what they don't want. They know that they don't want their pants to feel so tight, or their clothes to feel so tight. One of the big ones is self-consciousness, and often this rears its head when you have a certain type of experience, when you've been to a party and you felt self-conscious in what you were wearing, or the party's getting closer and closer and closer, and all of a sudden you're starting to worry about feeling self-conscious, or you don't have anything to wear that you feel comfortable in. And so these are the things that you don't want, that you don't like, that you want to get rid of. Right? So everything that you want to move away from, right? This is all the stuff you want to escape or eliminate or move away from. We can call this push motivation, and it's basically the pain. It's all of the pain that you want to eliminate and move away from in your life. And this is important. It's a useful and very important motivational source, because it's often what kickstarts us into action. And it can also be useful later on as well as a source of making sure that you don't go back to that same place again. But if that's the only source of motivation that you have, as you make progress on your journey in this direction, then as you make progress, the more progress you make, what happens to your pain that you were getting away from? Your daily experience of that pain diminishes. Now you're no longer feeling quite so self-conscious, or now your clothes aren't feeling quite so tight. And sure, you might not be exactly where you want to be yet, but it's no longer this constant painful daily reminder. It's no longer this thorn in your side every single day. So push motivation is going to diminish the more progress you make, which is why it's so important that you know what you want at this other end, that you know exactly what it is that you're moving towards. All of the positive benefits and outcomes that you want to create and experience as a result of this transformation. And honestly, if you've been struggling with your motivation, I guarantee you do not have clarity on this. You might think you do. You might think that you want to be in better shape, and you might want more energy and these kinds of things, but you have not created that outcome and imagined that outcome in a way that is genuinely exciting for you. Something that you absolutely cannot live without. And it's different for everybody. For you, it might be really wanting to be able to chase your kids and your grandkids around the garden and to play with them and to be actively involved with them, instead of suffering and struggling because you're unfit, or you're unhealthy, or you're unwell, or you are in pain. It doesn't matter what your source of motivation is, but it has to be something that you genuinely want with every fiber of your being, and you can see what it adds to your life. What do you want to do more of, have more of, feel more of, experience more of, create more of in your life, and how that affects everything that you do. How being in the best shape of your life affects how you show up in your relationships, how you show up as a husband or a wife or a father or a mother, how you show up with your friends, how you show up in your business with more energy, more vibrancy, more self-esteem, more of a sense of pride, more of a sense of integrity, knowing that you deliver on your promises. You made this promise to yourself and you delivered on it. How it affects everything in your life, and it becomes this fundamental part of your identity that you cannot live without. And it affects everything in your life. It has to have that kind of impact on you, where you have so much clarity, not only on what you want, but why you want it also. And most people have no clarity on this whatsoever. Everybody's obsessed on what they're trying to escape, what they want to get rid of. They don't like this, they don't like that, they're complaining about this, that, and the other, but they have no clarity on the vision that they have created for themselves. This is the starting place. This is Motivation 101. This should be the very first thing you do before you embark on any journey, before we address any of the other stuff. So make sure you get this first step right.